everybody. Welcome one, welcome all. This is Psi.Vision Astrology 1111. This is Chase Batice. I'm your host. Astrologer extraordinaire. No, not really. Just somebody who's studied astrology for a while and is in tune and is here to channel, work through, help you all, assist, guide. I'm on the same wavelength you are. I'm processing all the same stuff as you. And so I'm here with you just working through it. So I just want to talk about what I've been going through, see what y'all been going through, maybe you can tell me what the heck you've been going through. Cause this last week has been a little bit of a doozy for me. Like I was riding really high. I was riding really, really high. I was feeling really good. And then I got kind of, something happened. Got a hitch in my giddy up a little bit. And my back went out on me. And because I've been talking about this Kundalini rising energy. And I'm not sure if you all are feeling that or not. I've been feeling it massive. And the Kundalini got stuck. Like in my low back. So I've been working through that. It's fine though. The universe is just telling me to chill. I'm kind of going to the gym a lot. I think I'm yanging myself out. Lots of yang, not enough yin. Even though I'm the yin queen, I'm all about the yin. I still need to interact more with the yin. So I would ask you to ask yourself that question. Have you been pushing yourself kind of hard lately? Have you, because currently the chart that I'm looking at, that I'm going to talk to you about right now, I was looking at it and I was like, oh, damn, no wonder, because we have a, sorry, I got to move it over so I can say that, and then I got to say this. Okay. Because we have these crazy aspects. We got a lot of squares going on right now, which, squares are tension aspects. Right? They're tension aspects. They are, sorry, I lost something. Okay. Could have been a little bit more prepared. Okay. They're tension aspects and they're like, they're kind of like something that's like, if you think about harmonies, vibration, sound, things that are harmonized together well, a square is like when two things don't harmonize totally together well, and they're there in our chart for us to help us grow. So they're things that are kind of challenging, but they really kind of wear down our egos. A lot of it has to do with our egos, who we think we are, our identities, our challenges, our wounding, and working through those squares ultimately frees us. So squares are actually amazing opportunities to evolve, really. Without squares, life would just be too easy, They say in astrology that, lots of trines. If somebody has a lot of trines, which if you look at a chart, there's trines. I go to astro.com. That's my favorite. Usually that's the blue. If somebody has like all trines, they've had no challenges in their life and their life has been easy, like too easy. And they haven't grown a lot. I don't know if any of this is true. These are just, classical interpretations. What I have found with people that have a lot of trines is that they don't seem to struggle as much in life. I don't think that that's a bad thing. All I can say for myself is that my squares have definitely, and my conjunctions that are intense, have definitely made me into the, powerful person that I am today, able to handle a lot of shit that comes my way, put myself through a lot of crazy situations. I got Pluto conjunct Saturn in my chart, I'm a plutonic woman, which means I crave intensity and dramatic transformative change, which has made me come to this point in time now. So, it just depends how you look at it. So currently we have a lot of squares in the chart right now. And I'm calling this, video recalibration because we just need sometimes to get things a little bit worked out. We need to iron things out. My partner was like working out that knot in my back today, kind of not ironing it out. And I'm like, yeah, just iron out that snake. Let her keep, rising up. She got a little coiled up. She got a little knotted up. Let's just keep rising that puppy back up. So sometimes, recalibrating is just looking at the chart, explaining some of these squares, explaining some of these tough plot spots so that we can understand them and kind of let them pass. Just let them pass, not judge, not get upset, let them pass, right? So currently in the chart that I'm looking at, we have There's a lot of, I've talked a lot about how Uranus, the center of the square, of all the squares of this chart right now, and I've been talking about this, I talk about it every time, we entered the age of Aquarius in the end of December 2020. It initiated a new wave of consciousness, a new wave, a new frequency, an elevated frequency on the planet, right? A lot got cleared out in 2020. It's still a clearing out process. We're still going to be working through it, right? But there's a new world that is starting to emerge, right? And it's run by the energies of Aquarius and Uranus. Uranus is the archetypal energy. Uranus is what rules Aquarius. It rules the sign of Aquarius. It's the archetypal energy of awakening. It's like the intense lightning bolt of awakening. Bah! Oh, I get it. It's Kundalini, really. It's ruled by intuition. It's a transpersonal planet. It's way out in outer space. It's like we can't see it. We can barely see it with the naked eye. It's also the weirdest planet in our solar system. If you're a solar system dork, nerd like I am, go look online and look at how freaking amazingly weird Uranus is. Like, I was watching some PBS documentary and they were like talking about, I think it was called the solar system. It was like a new one, and they were going through each planet, its energies. It was a PBS, so it's all science. But they got to Uranus, and it was like the Uranus one was like 5 minutes because everybody's like, it's weird, it's bizarre, I don't get it. Nobody can explain anything. It's covered by gases, like these insane gases that make it this incredibly beautiful blue color. That's what it looks like to our eye spectrum. Who knows what it really looks like, right? And its rings, it doesn't have the same kind of gravity or pull. It's completely different than all the other planets in our solar system. The rings are vertical. The rings are vertical. Everything about Uranus is weird, and it's really the future. Uranus rules the future. It rules innovation. It rules change. It rules genius. It rules evolution. It rules freedom. It rules rebellion. It rules decentralization. It rules authenticity. All of these things that we're currently in the age of Aquarius that are currently happening, okay? So the center, we've got a giant T-square. A T-square in astrology is when there's a giant triangle in the chart that is all red. Those are all made up of squares. And the apex point of the top of the triangle is Uranus in this square. Where is Uranus currently? It's in Taurus. It's been in Taurus for a while. It's about halfway through Taurus because it keeps going and then retrograding, going and retrograding. It's actually going to be in Taurus for the next it started in 2017, so it's got about 3 more years. So it's about 3.5 more years. It's about a 7-year cycle. In this, Uranus takes 84 years to go all the way around the zodiac. So last time Uranus was in Taurus, it shakes things. Uranus, wherever it is, it shakes things up. It awakens things. It literally awakens things. And that is how I have been feeling lately. I don't know if you guys have been feeling like that. I've been getting bursts of like, oh, the sky is... I see white, I see light, I see bright, I have such high energy, I feel amazing. And then other days I'll be like, oh man, I can barely get out of bed, I feel tired. The energies are kind of like this right now. I've been going through a lot of squares. It's going to be like this for a little while. I don't know, maybe this is just life. Maybe this is just the way life is. I do feel, though, and I think you guys probably agree, that we're in kind of an intense time in humanity, right? It's kind of an intense time. The systems are breaking down. Everything's breaking down. Everything is changing, right? The old patriarchal, heteronormative, colonial structures ain't working no mo. People are like, this ain't working for me no mo. And they're trying to hold on for dear life. They're trying to hold their power for dear life. And it's up to us, the people, each and every one of us responsible for our own evolution, responsible for our souls, to step up for ourselves, not for anyone else but ourselves. Asking ourselves, one of the deepest themes of Uranus, freedom. Am I free? Do I feel free? What is keeping me from feeling free? Because ultimately, it's always ourselves. No one and no thing really has power over us unless we allow them to. Unless, of course, you live in an oppressive country that, or you're in an abusive situation. I mean, okay, yes, there's situations. But generally, because we are very blessed here in the USA of A, where I live, and wherever you're watching from, generally, there's a lot more liberties here that we have, that we can really choose to shift our own internal dynamic. And that's really the truth for everyone on the planet, right? We can shift our internal dynamic to relate to life differently. And that's really what Uranus is all about. It's awakening ourselves to our intuitive power. It's all, Uranus rules intuition. It rules being connected to the electricity of this universe. Wah, 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 wah. If you're in tune with Uranus, you're electric. You're in tune with the frequencies. You are guided and you do not question it. You do not question it. And it may look really weird and it may look really strange to everybody around you, but all of a sudden, if you really, really start working with it and feel yourself guided by it, things will start working out for you. And then people are going to be like, why is everything working out for that person? Because they're in tune. You're in tune. You're in tune with the universal current. You're in tune with the universal flow. I have lots of courses about this. This is my life's work, really, is helping people get into the universal flow, get into the flow of the cosmos so that we don't have to crazily manifest and grind and work to make things happen. We sit back, we chill, we sync up with the rhythm. We hold ourselves to the vibration that the universal current actually has our back. We shift our internal belief system to believe that the universe actually is a good place. Despite what may have ever happened in our lives, it's our own internal belief systems that rule our reality this time in space now, right? So as we begin to shift and remember that the universe actually has our back and begin to surrender instead of needing to control the outcome of every single thing, we can actually just sort of surrender to what is actually meant for us, and we are guided, blessed, and protected. So currently, like I said, we have a T-square, which is a triangle, right? And the apex of the triangle is Uranus, right? Uranus is squaring it's squaring Mars conjunct Venus, and it's squaring Saturn. And the Mars conjunct Venus is opposing each other. So it makes one giant. So that's 4 planets that are in a tension aspect with each other. Uranus being the absolute apex of it, the absolute top of it, right? You know, one of my old astrology teachers, she talked about how during a Uranus-Mars square, because Mars is the energy of like, boom, action, right? Like, assertiveness, pushing forward. It's the sperm entering the egg, it's the emblem of the masculine, you know what I mean? It's like rules Mars. I mean, it rules Aries, the energy of birth, like, you know what I mean? It's like the go, right? That squaring Uranus. So those two together, say they were conjunct blending, that's what conjunct means. They would be enhancing one another. They would be like building on one another. Squaring, there's like an energy that's like they're a little bit tense. It's a tension, they can't quite find the right way to harmonize, right? And one of my teachers, I remember telling me how during a Uranus Mars square cycle, there can be a lot of like crazy things can happen. Weird accidents can happen, like things can blow up or just weird things happen, good or bad, right? And I was like, because I was all around me, all these things were happening to all these people. Like my sister told me yesterday that her toilet just completely broke and shattered and it flooded her entire hallway, which that was like extremely odd. And she got a cut on her hand from it and stuff. And then my back went out on me and just like really random things were happening. I'm not trying to put that energy. It doesn't mean that's going to happen to you. I was just noticing, I was like, whoa, because it's that kind of like jolting energy of Uranus trying to come through and then Mars kind of like boosh, 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 right? And it's not quite like smooth, right? It's like, it's kind of shocking and it's kind of intense, right? So that's one of the squares we got going on right now. That can happen physically and like crazy manifest as weird accidents and stuff, but it can also, or just happenings, can also manifest in all different kinds of ways. Like not, it can manifest in our own spirits. There can be things that come up that are like, all of a sudden you just, you feel something comes out of you that you didn't know was even there. And it's creating all this turmoil, but it was the truth and it needed to be said, or, and a lot of times these are things that needed to happen. They're kind of things that are under the surface that kind of just are popping up, but they're kind of popping up really suddenly, so you might just want to be on the lookout for that. Uranus is also squaring Saturn. This is going to be a cycle that we've been going throughout 2021. We're in 2021 now. Hello, 2021. So Saturn squared Uranus, man, we've been talking about the attempt to stabilize the crazy Uranian energy, right? The crazy Uranian energy is, it rules, Uranus. The time Uranus was discovered, the French Revolution happened. A lot of people talk about Uranus as like the energy of the French Revolution, like just this kind of chaotic, wild, shifting where the people were like, no more, you know what I mean? Let's cut off their heads, that's kind of like Uranian energy. It's rebellion to the intense degree, revolution, innovation, change, in the name of truth, in the name of authenticity, in the name of actually collective power, in the name of collective imagination and collective power, right? So Uranus is squaring Saturn, and Saturn, like I've told you guys, is the energy of it's the timekeeper. It's the Saturnian Lord of Karma. It materializes things. It brings it to the forefront. It forces us to deal with it. It stabilizes. It's all about time and putting things into the ground and making them applicable, materializing them, right? So that is squaring Saturn. How do those two work? Saturn is based in Capricorn. That's an earth sign. Uranus is based in Aquarius. That's an air sign. Those two, man, you trying to ground out some air? How you going to do that? That's real hard, right? So it's like but I've talked about how Saturn is evolving, right? Because Saturn, a lot of the archetype of Saturn, comes from Satan. So Saturday, it's also the origin of the word Satan because it's ruled by Capricorn. It's really interesting if you go into all the origins of all these things. But, it's classically, it's like the old man, principal archetype of like really, putting your head down and working and linearly understanding things from A to B, materializing, it rules karma, it rules, facing things. So it's kind of this energy of like, discipline, really, discipline, right? I was just talking about rebellion with the Uranus energy. How do those two even work together? Well, the Saturnian energy, it's currently in Aquarius, right? I talked about how the age of Aquarius began in the end of 2020. So Saturn is actually helping to stabilize and materialize. It's up-leveling everything. It's actually helping to stabilize and materialize this new era. It's actually helping to stabilize and materialize the new wave. Otherwise it would just be all ideas up here. It's actually starting to ground it into the materiality, into the things that we actually use and see and function with, right? It's not an easy process, because the old is like, give me that back, that's mine, it's all mine, right? And the new era, the new Aquarian revolution and wave is all about here. Everybody have some. Let's all be our authentic selves, and we can all do it and abundantly have enough, right? So the Saturn is here to help us stabilize that Aquarian energy, and it's it's squaring Uranus and Taurus. So we're gonna have like massive periods of awakening and prosperity and excitement of the new waves. And then we're going to have constrictive times where it's like a tug of war. It's kind of a tug of war that's going on. But just know that's how birth happens, right? That's how evolution changes. That's how it's a spiral, right? And every time you come back to the same point, it's a little bit more extended, right? It's a little bit looser until it just kind of liberates itself eventually, right? And that's what this 2021 Saturn squared Uranus cycle is really doing for us all. It's liberating our consciousness. It's the push-pull that eventually will break the rope and something new will emerge. And you know, I would be curious to know if this is happening inside of you guys, if you're having some kind of push pull where you find yourself kind of going into the past, going into the old fear you know, narratives, and then also miraculous and beautiful things simultaneously happening to you, because that's what's been going on for me. Like there's been more waves and prosperous openings, like a flower, that keep happening, and I'm like, whoa, magic. And then something will happen, it'll be like, get back here, and I'm like, oh God, fear, you know, and then I gotta slowly come back out again and be like, the magic. I think that's what's going on with my back right now, honestly, is like, you know, this push pull where I'm like, yes, no, right? Is anybody else going through this? I saw a thumbs up. Let me know if you are. So that's what the, you know, Saturn squared Uranus is all about. And then on top of all that, we have the Saturn opposing Uranus conjunct. No, sorry. We have Saturn opposing Mars, right? So, you know, like I just said, and then Mars is conjunct. Let's talk about Mars being conjunct Venus. Mars being conjunct Venus, you know, Venus is the energy of receptivity, pleasure, beauty, feminine, you know, refinement. You know, Mars is the energy, external energy. Venus is very receptive. Mars is very active. To have those two blending, it's a beautiful thing, actually, because it's a balancing, it's a calibration of the balance in the masculine and the feminine currently at this time. The archetypal energies are the balance of the masculine and the feminine. And it's in the sign of Leo. So Leo is all about expression and fun and playfulness. You know, this recalibration energy, recalibrating the energies of the feminine and the masculine. I feel that that's what's happening with me currently. And that's also what's happening on the planet, right? The feminine must rise because we've been in such a masculine dominant time and space, right? The feminine must rise and the masculine must wane. And that is actively what is happening. That's that push pull I'm talking about, right? That's what's been happening. So opposing, those two energies are opposing Saturn, right? Saturn, that's Nico, he's got a little bit of Saturn is, you know, like I said, the timekeeper, the karmic wheel. So whenever you have an opposition, you kind of have this teeter-tottering a little bit. So, you know, there's this expressive energy that we have right now, this abundance of expressive energy in Leo that is getting tempered by the Saturnian. The Saturnian energy is trying to somehow, because Saturn can kind of constrict, you know, like somebody who has Saturn in Leo, that's like, can be a difficult placement because, you know, you have maybe something like you need to express yourself, but Saturn can kind of constrict. It can, or it may put you on your path to where you become a master of the thing. But a lot of times where Saturn is, it can kind of make us fearful of something. So, you know, where are you guys currently afraid to express your authenticity, afraid to express your innovative, futuristic, weird ass ideas? Are you expressing them? Are they in balance? Are they calibrated to the masculine and the feminine? Is there an active and a receptive piece? I just worked with a client today, and she's a super successful, you know, business owner of these incredible business. And she was talking today about, you know, I could feel in her energy and her vibration that she was, you know, masculine dominant, active dominant, right? There was this calibration that needed to happen where there could be more of a receptive energy that began to be. And what do I mean by receptive energy? I mean, really what it comes down to is allowing oneself to live in a state of allowing oneself to allow. But it's really, is that it's manifesting versus allowing. And, you know, I like to live in paradox, so you can absorb them both and allow them both to simultaneously coexist, which I do. But I've found that, you know, in our old world, we were, you know, a lot of the narratives are built around manifesting. Manifest destiny was a, you know, was a word that America like was built upon, right? And it's really about the oppression of others in order to get yours. That's really, I looked up manifest destiny. It's super fucked up. It's like the Polk President Polk. It's like horrible. Manifest. I was like, that's a cool name. That's a cool word. That's a cool phrase. And I looked it up. I was like, oh God, this is horrible. It's like the oppression of all peoples in order to, like, you know, it was a way to logically like a way to logically oppress other people and groups. So anyway, though, you know, I think in our culture, we're overly geared towards manifestation. I know I was for a lot of years. And, you know, when you're in that vibe and you're in that place, it's really exhausting. Manifesting is really, really, really tiring. It's a tiring thing. I remember just being burnt out from trying to manifest all the time. I'm like, I can't do this no more. I can't do no more of this. Like, I need a break. You know what I mean? My adrenals are tired, you know? And then really, it's, if we really actually trust and have faith in the universe, we don't need to manifest. We can put an intention out there because that's us connected. That is us as the universe. It's what's coming to us. But the need to control it, the need for the outcome to be exactly as we imagine, we got to leave space and room and flow to allow the universe to do her thing and work through us as she will to give us unexpected, you know, results. And that is the state of receptivity, where you're in a state of trust and you kind of let go of needing something to be a certain outcome. And you're like, you know what? I believe in this universe. The universe actually has my back. And that's my fundamental, deepest core belief. That's the recalibration I want to give you guys all today. And that is the truth. The universe has your back. And if you can make that the deepest core fundamental belief, you are on the right track, because things will just start to magically work out for you. And if you also start to just allow yourself to receive, not in a way where somebody's giving you something, receive life, receive beauty, receive time, receive the now, receive yourself. Instead of always being in this critical space of things never hitting the mark, open up to the glory of it in the present moment, right? So, that would be my, so all of this is creating a T-square, a giant triangle. Those are all the elements of this T-square, right? And so when you have a T-square, there's a release point. The release point, because it all culminates at Uranus. Uranus is ruling. It's got this little flag. It's ruling this new era, right? It's with its squares and its trines and its squares and its trines. So the release point for all of this is in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is the 8th sign of the zodiac. It is the deepest, it's a very, very, very deep feeling, intense sign that feels at the deepest cores. It's extremely psychic, and it rules at its deepest essence. It rules transformation. So how can all of this percolate within the self? How can all of this percolate within the self so that there's this release point? Because a T-square like that, there's a lot of tension. It's like, right? How can this all percolate so that the release point is in Scorpio? The release point is in Scorpio. What does that mean? It means that you allow yourself to enter into the depths of your own subconscious, into your own emotional self, into your own truth, where you let yourself feel at the deepest levels, whatever it is that you need to feel, so that things can actually be fluid. That's why Scorpio is a water sign, because it makes things fluid. It makes things movable. When we allow ourselves to feel and we get emotional, that's when things loosen up. We're not as rigid. We're not as holding on as tightly, right? They loosen up and they become liberated. And that's when we actually have room to change. That's when actual transformation actually happens. So do some scorpionic shit, you know, get deep with yourself, sit at your altar, watch a sunrise, pray, have some moments with the self where you reflect. Everything I just talked about here, how is that building up in the self? Allow it to release. Allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you need to feel, and all of this craziness and all this turbulence that we've been going through. Let yourself feel it all. Let yourself grieve. Let yourself cry. And you may not even need to grieve. You might just need to cry. Sometimes I cry. God, what did I watch? I watched The Color Purple the other day. Has anybody seen The Color Purple, the movie? I've never even read the book. I cannot believe I never read the book. I mean, I'm an Oprah fan, but so I knew The Color Purple was a big deal for her and her life, but holy shit, did that story affect me. Oh my God, I was crying the whole next day. It was so powerful. And it was so powerful. It was like one of the most powerful movies I've ever seen. And it was just it was about triumph, like triumphant love. The energy of love, triumphing over everything. It was incredible. I highly recommend that film if you guys need that's a perfect scorpionic thing to process. Even if you can't even necessarily process your own pain right now, or you don't know how to, watch something really deep like The Color Purple. That will release it. It made me feel so inspired and hopeful and empowered and about the future and what's possible for humans and consciousness. And, you got to keep yourself in those spaces of constantly, watching and exposing or reading material that gets you in that deep feeling space where you feel released. Scorpio is about release and intensity. So you are intense so you can release whatever you need to do to release that, right? So I think that's about it for today, everybody. Unless you guys have any questions, there's a bunch of people watching today. 2 whole people watching right now. I messed up on my ad though. That's another thing, obviously. I put the wrong date. Didn't put the wrong time though. But does anybody have any questions before I head out? You two wonderful beings. I see you. No? Okay. All right. Well, I think that's all. A few words of advice. Let yourself feel. Let yourself express. It's okay if you're going through some turbulent times. Just remember that we're on a new path. We've entered into a new frequency, and the plane is just trying to find its groove. Okay? We're all trying to find the groove. Fly high. We're ascending higher and higher and higher, and there's some turbulence happens in planes, right? Because there's weird air currents and stuff. Right? We're still going higher and higher and higher. At this point, we're basically one of those Branson at SpaceX, rockets that's going actually to outer space, past airplanes now, right? So it's going to be a little bit more turbulence than we're used to, and we're going to feel a little bit weirder than we did before. So that's what's going on. That's Uranian. That's Uranian shit right there. All right. Anyway, I love you guys. I love you so much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. I hope this was helpful, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. All right. Bye.